only Christian because you were brought up here.
Excuse me? You want to say, rewind that one. Wind that one by me one more time, that last sentence.
That you're only...
Come on, give it to me, bud.
That you're only Christian because you were here. Born here. Or in
How on earth do you know that? How on earth do you know that the only reason I'm a Christian is because I was born in the United States?
It's not an attack on your belief.
How do you know what you just said?
It's an assumption.
It is so judgmental and scary. I would never treat you that way. That is so disrespectful to do what you just did. You don't have the faintest idea why I'm a follower of Christ.
But isn't it a statistical problem? I mean, forgive me. If that's not true, I apologize.
You better apologize. That's off the wall rude. I don't have the faintest idea why you believe what you believe. And for me to assume that you believe whatever it is you believe, because you were born in the home you were born in, is so judgmental. It's incredible. You don't know that.
So when I first saw that video, the first thing that I thought was, I don't know who the hell Cliff think he talking to. If Cliff had came to me trying to intimidate me like that, Cliff would have got one right across the face, because I don't know who you step into like that. And he always want people to show respect, but then you showed this young man such total disrespect that maybe you need to check yourself. But then I did a little bit of research on Cliff, and it only took me about 5 minutes at most. So I Jose monkeyed him real quick. And I came to find out that the reason why Cliff was so triggered, more than likely, and let me say more than likely, the reason why Cliff was so triggered is because of his upbringing. Because this young man, when he made that statement, it resonated with Cliff with something that is probably as hurtful as you can think of. Now, when you go and you research Cliff, Cliff is very silent about his parents. Very silent. Doesn't speak much about his personal life. There's not a lot of information about his personal life. But when you take a deeper dive, you find out that Cliff's parents were Emilio and Ann, and I don't know how to say Cliff's last name correctly, but those were his parents, Emilio and Ann. Emilio and Ann, who were up in New York, who were pastors over. Emilio was the pastor over the New Canaan church up there, and which appears to be that he was Seventh-day Adventist, that Cliff grew up in a Seventh-day Adventist household. Now, if you know anything about Seventh-day Adventists, they are almost pretty much like Jehovah's Witness in the sense that if you stray from the Seventh-day Adventist fire and brimstone, the end is coming, we're the only ones that's going to heaven because we keep the Sabbath message, Cliff strayed from that. When he came down to North Carolina and went to Davidson College, he began to stray from that teaching. And if you stray from the Seventh-day Adventist teaching, then you get ostracized from the church, ostracized from the family. So Cliff, more than likely, can't say he did because I don't know, but more than likely was ostracized from his Seventh-day Adventist family. As a matter of fact, in one of his mother's obituary, it just says that they had 6 kids. But I found another one that actually listed Cliff and his wife Sharon. And Cliff also must have had a brother named Stewart, to which he named his son after his brother. But anyway, the fact of the matter is, Cliff was triggered because it more than likely brought up some hurtful feelings from his family ostracizing him because of their religious belief in the Seventh-day Adventist teachings. And now Cliff found himself to be out on his own and having to still believe in his Christian message, and because he now turned it into a different light than the Seventh-day Adventist church. So the young man was actually more than likely I'm gonna say 99.9% correct that the only reason Cliff is a Christian is because he was brought up in a Christian household, albeit a Seventh-day Adventist Christian household, but yet and still brought up in a Christian household, which is why he is Christian. And so it pricked a little point in Cliff, and Cliff got angry. Cliff got angry at this young man and intimidated this young man for it. But Cliff, that just shows that you got some demons inside of you, sir. As y'all like to say, you got some demons inside of you that you need to exercise, because there was no reason for you to disrespect this young man in the way that he did, because he asked you a legitimate question, made a legitimate statement. The overwhelming majority of people on this planet believe in the religion that they believe in because they were born into that religion by parents who already believed in that religion. And then when you trace it back as far as you can go, you will find that at some point, somebody forced your family to become part of that religion. I believe Emilio is from the Dominican Republic. Christianity didn't come to the Taino people who were living in the Dominican Republic on their own. They were forced into it by the Spanish conquistadors. So your family lineage from your father were forced into it. Your mother, I could not necessarily, well, I didn't look really hard to see where your mother's family came from. But your mother's family, being Caucasian, being European, more than likely at some point you will find that they were forced, whether it was from the Roman Empire or whatever came later into the area to which your mother's family is from. But at some point, your family was forced into Christianity. So, Cliff, take it easy on the young man. Don't get mad at the young man like that. Simply because he told a truth that you don't want to deal with, you should go and get some psychological help and some emotional help to help you be able to deal with the fact that you were most likely ostracized from your mother and your father and the rest of your family that you grew up with, your friends and so on and so forth at New Canaan up there in New York. And that's why you went after this young man, because he brought up those painful memories, those painful thoughts that you've been trying to avoid over these last years. You're 70 years old. It's time for you to get over those things and really just let yourself be free. So always remember, you have to free yourself to be yourself, because your greatness is non-negotiable. Good journey, good vibration.